Okay, so today I'm finally going to replace the stock sound system on this thing with my nice Pioneer Double DIN that's going to go into that, and then it'll all go into the car. The way I'm going to do that is I've got the stock harnesses that come with the Double DIN there. That'll come with whatever radio you choose. Then I've got my I-85 harness here and reverse harness that's going to connect to the stereo one there. So the way this works is that this, not I-85, I think it's I-88 or I-85, I'd have to double check that. But this is basically going to plug into here, like so. I'm not going to plug it in right now, but what that does is it allows me to use my climate controls on this panel and connect them to the stock car's system. And this only works, I should mention this only works if you've got the double climate control. If you have the single climate control, you don't have the GT model, most likely. So you shouldn't even be watching this video. But what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to connect my climate controls from this unit to the car. And then this one is going to connect to this harness like that. If you've ever done any stereo installation in the past, you know how this works. Basically, you've got all of these things on the harness that comes with the unit, and then you're just going to use a chart, a wiring chart, and that'll tell you what lines up to what, and then you're going to solder that onto there, and or use heat shield or whatever shrink or whatever you want to use, and connect it like that. Then the last thing I've got here is the antenna adapter, which is not required, but I'm going to use it with mine here. And then this other one, which actually works for your steering wheel controls. So I'm actually going to do a steering wheel swap on this car, like I did on my last one. I had a video. There's the steering wheel right there. I've got a video on my channel of how to do that. I'll probably throw it up in the link here. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can attach the audio controls from the new steering wheel into this whole setup. So I'm going to go ahead and solder all that stuff. I don't need to get that on camera, and then come back and we'll go from there. So here's essentially my finished product. Looks like a lot of wires, but it's pretty simple. Basically, this is the harness that came with my Pioneer Double DIN. So that's going to be different for every stereo. But from there's a bunch of wires that will come out. And then this is just like any wiring harness adapter that you get for a car that you plug into the factory wiring harness, and it gives you all these connections that you can then plug into your stereo harness. So I connected them all up. What you're looking at here is stereos, like left and right, front and back speakers, positive and negatives. You're looking at antenna, power, remote turn-ons, grounds, power, constant, etc. And that's what you're going to get off of your wiring, your stereo diagram. So you're going to have to look that up for the car. I'll maybe post a link to one or something in the description. And then what you've got here is the I-88 harness that you're going to have to get custom made. And I got that from the AE64 site. I can post a link to that as well. And it's just one guy who custom makes these things for this specific application. They're pretty cheap, and he's a pretty good guy. Gives you a lot of support. Anyway, so this is the side that's going to go into the JDM climate control, and then this is the side that's going to go into your car's harness. So your car is going to plug into that. This is going to plug into the climate control, and then this is just some illumination wires and power wires that are going into the main harness there. So everything is pretty much set up as plug and play now, and I'm just going to take it out to the car and set it all up, or more like plug it all in, I should say. And then I've also got to mount my Double DIN in the actual bezel itself. And that's pretty standard. It's just going to be some screws. It's going to slide into the frame, and then I'll screw it down. But I'll see how much of that I can get on camera, and I'll take it outside. Alright, so the thing is installed in the bezel, nicely bolted down. There was a tiny gap at the top there, so I just took some electric tape and just put it there just to block the light. And it looks perfect now, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to plug the harness into the bezel here and take it out to the car. So I'm just going to start removing the trim around the radio here. I've covered this in a previous video, so I'm not going to go too much into detail into it, but I guess I'll do a fast motion version of it. Alright, so that's all done. Radio's out. I just had to pull off some connections from the back there. These are all the connections you're going to see on the back. And there was a grounding strap on the side as well. Yeah, so the connections that plug into here normally are going to go into the harness there. You'll see how I do that in a second. I'm just going to grab these things and kind of clean them up a little bit and then continue on. Okay, so went and got my harness and my stereo there. So this connector is going to go on there just like that, and then this one is going to go onto this one here, just like that. And then of course this will plug into the back of my stereo and this into the bezel. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we should be good to go. Now there's a couple other things that I'm going to worry about, and that's specific to my stereo here. Is got this USB port that plugs into the back there, and that microphone. So just for the sake of time right now, I'm actually just going to take this USB and run it through here, and then it'll come out and it'll just give me a little port there. Future plans are to run that USB down the center tunnel here and have it come out in my center console like that, so I can plug the phone in that way. And that's for Android Auto, so that's why I want to have that as an actual physical connection. But that's a little bit more of an involved install, and I don't really feel like dealing with that today. I just want to get this double DIN in and running so that I can start to enjoy it. The other thing is the microphone, which I'm going to route through here and probably up through the steering wheel area, and then maybe clip it right onto the top there where my little parking light thing is, that switches, and that'll be able to detect my voice nicely. Of course, for you guys, you're going to have to figure out what you want to do for your own little installs there, depending on what type of features your stereo has. But yeah, once you plug all this stuff in, your radio should come to life and work. So I'm going to go ahead and try and do that, and then before I put any of this stuff back together, test it all out. As I was putting it back in there, I completely forgot. You need to take out this little corner here, because the JDM hazard switch is on the left side, but obviously there was a cutout on the right side for the USDN one. So I'm just going to take a Dremel that out, and then this thing should slide in perfectly. Okay, so I Dremeled it out. If you're wondering how much needs to be taken out, pretty much exactly that much. You got to make sure you get that bottom lip there, and then also far enough to the left, and give give it a nice smooth path to cross there as well. So Dremel that out, and then you should be able to slide this thing in, and you're good to go. Okay, so everything is all plugged in and thrown in place there. I just put 2 screws to hold it. Throw on the keys and see if it all works. Oh, that works. Sweet. AC works. Oh, auto's over here now. Yeah. This is going to take some getting used to. That's cool though. Yeah, hazards. Has a smart tap relay, so it does its weird tappy thingy. But yeah, that all looks good. You don't need to see that. Although I do want to set that up. Okay, so obviously all that works. I'm just going to throw everything back together here. I don't think you guys need to see that. But yeah, basically that's the that's how you install your JDM Double DIN. So if you have any questions or you want to see more, or you want to see any of the other projects I have on the go, just go ahead, give me a like and subscribe, and drop any comments you have in the boxes below. And that's it for me. Have a good one. Before I finish this thing off, there's one thing I forgot to do, and that was run the mic cable and the USB cable. So of course the USB cable is temporary, and it's just popping out of like there for now. I'm gonna fix that up, run it through the console later. But the mic thing, I guess the mic itself, is not as hard as I thought it would be, because what I did is I just stuck this in here and popped this little piece of trim down, and then I was able to run my cable right through that, and you just feed the end through, and then you can start pulling it here and pull it all through. And what's going to end up happening is I'll have the mic just sit like that. Maybe not right there, but probably take it out of this holder and have it either sit here or here, somewhere in this area here, where it's going to be able to, yeah, probably like that, detect my speech and not too much engine noise, and also be pretty well concealed. So that's one option for running the mic if you're into that. Okay, well that's it. The stereo's installed. I ran my mic up here. There it is right there. Just gonna put some double-sided tape on there and stick it on. And then the USB is down there. Yeah, that's all there is to it.